Hello, welcome and thank you for joining another episode of the Luimoto YouTube channel. This episode is all about saving your ass. So I bought the SCR950 and on riding it back, I couldn't ride it for about 30 or 40 minutes without it either vibrating, and my ass was just so sore from the seat. So anyone that's experienced riding an SCR950 knows that the stock seat is pretty hard, and I got a lot of vibrations as well coming through the seat and through the pegs. So I made two changes. One, I changed the rear spring, which I'll do on another video, and the second was to add a seat cover. Now the research I did said there were two options for seat covers. One of those seat covers was the Luimoto. Let's call it Luimoto. Luimoto. So what I love about Luimoto is that all their products are designed and manufactured in North America. Very, very good on getting back to me. It was really short notice for me on the Mali Rally to try and get a seat cover, and I was worried that I wouldn't be able to fit it easily, but I didn't need to be afraid at all. So this video is all about showing you how to fit the Luimoto seat cover. They have three sort of main products. One is the designer seat covers. The second is the gel pads, so you can get extra gel pads for underneath the seat cover. And the third one is what they call tank leaf, which is pads that stick on to the tank. So you don't need to take off your seat cover at all. You just need to remove your seat and then put this one on top. So I bought mine and it was shipped within 7 to 10 days, and I got it within 2 weeks from North America, and I'm in the UK. So it was around £135, I think $160 or so, and it came in this type of box. And you undo both parts, and then inside you've got the rolled up seat cover and the moisture barrier that goes between your stock seat cover and the new seat cover. So there are three options for the seat cover for the SCR950. There's vintage black, vintage brown, and vintage dark brown, with the gel insert, the seat cover, and the strap that goes across the back, which replaces the stock strap. They do products for many other bikes, and they do a bespoke service as well. So if your make and model is not seen, just contact them. They were really helpful in getting back to me about delivery times. The seats aren't leather, it's a leather look material, but fully water resistant, waterproof, so no rain will be coming through into the stock saddle. So I don't have a garage with a workbench or anything, so I had to do this on my dining room table. So I've took my seat off. There's one bolt attaching the SCR950 to the seat, which you can access by taking the side panels off, and then you flip the seat over, and you can see all the staples from the stock saddle and where that is stapled to the seat. So the first part is taking off the strap that goes around as the grab strap for either passenger, for pillion passenger, and start by removing that. I think it's an 8 or a 10 mil. Use an 8 to 10 mil socket set for that. One word of advice when you're trying to do this, it's much easier with two people. You'll see I get someone to help me in a second, but because I don't have a clamp or anything, but the seat tends to rock on the table. So do try and get someone else to help you, especially when you start stapling the seat cover to the stock seat. So taking off both bolts, and then be careful. I didn't lose that strap. I wanted to keep that just in case there's any problems fitting later on. So you put the seat cover, lay it flat onto your table or workbench, and then I wrapped up the stock seat in the plastic membrane and pushed that onto the seat, ensuring that I pushed the stock seat right up into the edges of the new seat cover. So working from the top down, I really tried to push the outer seat cover onto the stock seat and make sure there was a nice tight fit before I started stapling that to the stock seat. What you'll see is on the new seat cover, you'll see little indentations on the right and left hand side of the seat, and that fits nice and neatly into the plastic guides which are on the stock seat. So it's a really good piece of engineering from Luimoto, where they've actually made some guides for you so you know exactly where to pull the seat cover up to and where to staple the seat cover onto the stock seat. So that was really useful. Otherwise you might get to the bottom and realise you haven't either pulled the seat cover up enough or it's too loose, but those guides on the left and right side at both sides were really, really useful. So I bought a stapler. I'll put a link down into the comment boxes below. The stapler, which industrial stapler, which was about £15 off of Amazon and came with enough staples. So I'll probably only use it for this, but it was well worth the job. Don't try and use a normal stapler, get an industrial stapler to use. So you'll see here that it's rocking around a bit. So what I tried to do is hold the outer seat cover and then push down. It does rock slightly, and you can see me shaking it a little bit, trying to get the pressure onto the seat cover so I can get the staple right through the membrane and then onto this to the stock seat. What I was trying to be careful of is not to go staple over staple, so not to staple over the stock staples. So once I managed to get a couple of staples onto the material, I cut away a lot of the membrane because I knew that that's just going to be excess and it's just getting in the way. So when you're comfortable that you've got the seat cover onto the stock seat, cut away that membrane and then you can just see a lot better, and it makes it a lot easier for working. So you can see me pulling over the seat cover onto it and then forcing it down, and that's it. I know exactly where they should be because of those inserts, so I know I'm not going to get it wrong. So turned it over, had a quick check that I was doing right, and span the seat round, and then just gave me a little bit more purchase onto the moving the top seat cover onto the stock seat. So at this point I'm folding when you get to the last bit, so ensure that you don't get any creases onto what's visible. You fold over about 1 centimetre. You can see I'm folding it over onto itself and then stapling through that onto the stock seat. Really helpful if you've got a second person helping you at this point, so you can just concentrate on tidying up that last bit so it's nice and neat. So when you're happy you've got all the staples in, flip the seat over just to see if there's any issues with any tension on any areas. I've looked at there should be a little bit more tension on the left hand rear side, so I put an extra staple in there just to make sure that was nice and tight all the way around, and then double check all the sides to see how it sits. And you might get a little bit of rougheting on the sides, but I think that's just where the packaging is or underneath, but it was immediately a lot softer than the stock seat, so that was really easy to see that it was definitely going to improve the ride and comfortability of the ride. So the Luimoto seat cover does come with its own strap for the pillion grab, and whether it's aesthetic or not, but it does look better than the stock one and fits the new material. So it's already got drilled holes, so you can just put it exactly in the same place as the original stock one was, and there's no problem at all fitting that. So and you'd expect it to be quite stiff and quite difficult to put onto those threads, but that's to make sure it keeps it nice and steady. I did open up the hole slightly with a pair of scissors. They are drilled already, but that just makes it much easier to go on and use the original nuts and bolts to put it back onto the seat. Put the seat back on, there was no issues in refitting it, and as you can see it looks much better than the stock seat, I think, and was much more comfortable. So it really stopped any vibration I was getting through the spine, and the day after fitting that I did the Mali Rally, 1500 miles, 2000 miles for me, from start to finish. Definitely worth investing in the seat cover. And if you're not going to get a bespoke seat cover, this is a really good, cheaper alternative, and I think looks great and really does the job, making the ride a lot more comfortable. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you found that useful. Subscribe if you would like to do that, and please do share this with anyone you think that would enjoy the content. Thank you very much.